Hello and welcome. We appreciate you joining us today. We will be getting started right on the top of the hour, so get that last second coffee refill, grab something to take some notes with, and we'll see you in just a few minutes. Hello and welcome. We appreciate you joining us here today. We'll be getting started in just a couple minutes, so grab something to take some notes with, and we'll see you at the top of the hour. Alrighty, hello and welcome to Growth Fundraising Home Run. Today we'll be chatting about all things related to enhancing your revenue with year-round fundraising and creative campaigns. Let's go ahead and get started. So let's meet today's speakers. My name is Madison Koutman, and I will be the host of today's session. Our experts today joining us as speakers are Amy Gainsford, a Senior Manager of Customer Success for GiveSmart, and Megan Snyder, a Customer Marketing Manager for GiveSmart. So thank you both so much for taking the time out of your day to extend your expertise to this session and to everyone attending.
You got it. Thank you.
Yeah, hello. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So some housekeeping tips as we get going. Please feel free to use the Q&A box for any questions you might have as we go, and check your chat box for resources and links we're going to share throughout the webinar. Our colleague Kelsey is helping us out on the back end, so keep the questions coming. Also, today's call is being recorded and the recording will be shared with everyone attending. So let's go over today's agenda. Let's just take a minute to review what you can expect for this next hour. We're going to start with a brief poll here in just a minute before diving into some growth fundraising strategies, revenue enhancing ideas for legacy events. We'll have another brief poll about mid-webinar, and then we'll finish it out with tons and tons of creating fundraising event and campaign ideas. We have lots and lots coming to you today. So make sure you have something to take some notes with. And we'll end the call with a Q&A. As we mentioned, please keep the questions coming. We'll answer some live, we'll save some for the end, and we want your input throughout. So if you have ideas to share, your own creative campaigns that you've hosted, lessons learned, anything like that, send us those messages in the chat so we can incorporate your ideas and feedback during the session. We want to make sure that your voices are all heard. So let's get our first poll going. We want to know how you feel about your organization's creativity and if it helps you grow year over year, whether that's growth in revenue, acquiring new supporters, engaging more members or visitors. Your definition of growth can be relative to your mission. So while the poll is going, I also wanted to quickly invite all of you to a really exciting opportunity this Thursday. We will be hosting an hour-long demo of the GiveSmart platform. So if you're like me and you're dying for a deeper look into GiveSmart, how it runs, what features can benefit your organization, or how your campaigns could look on our platform, this is your chance. So we're sharing a link in the chat where you can register to attend that webinar this Thursday. You can also register to receive the recording as well if you can't attend. So let's go ahead and we're going to end the poll and share results here. So looks like everyone, for the most part, 85% said you feel like you have some creativity to help you grow year over year, but you definitely have room to grow. So I'm so glad you're here. That's exactly what today is about. And for those of you who said not really, we need ideas. We have tons and tons and tons of ideas coming your way. So without any further ado, let's jump into our first section, which is going to be on growth fundraising and strategies to increase your revenue. So Amy, can you kick us off on goals?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It may seem basic, excuse me, but one step for growth is always setting goals. So whether that's goals for events, fundraising, acquiring donors, retaining donors, growing programs, or other initiatives, give yourself realistic timelines and planning efforts so you can accomplish these goals. GiveSmart serves organizations of all shapes and sizes across the US. So some of this might seem pretty basic, but as a former fundraiser and as GiveSmart team members who serve GiveSmart customers on a daily basis, we can't stress this enough, how important it is to have realistic timelines, starting points, and goals to set proper expectations. It's great to consider all avenues when establishing these goals, because some goals may be large, some may be small, from annual fundraising dollars all the way down to how many tickets to sell for an event. There's room for growth in every avenue listed on this slide, from events to donors and revenue streams. In the chat, we're sharing a great resource our team created that's basically a downloadable printable goal planning worksheet for your organization. Feel free to download that asset or bookmark it for later so you have a jump start to establish some of these goals for your own growth.
Absolutely. And Megan, what about growth strategy?
Yeah, for sure. So growth strategy is embedded in your goals and your actions year round to support your fundraising. Ensure your strategy includes not only just goals, but comprehensive planning via a calendar, planner, spreadsheet, or whatever works best for you and for your organization. You'll be able to track better things like grant deadlines, event dates, giving days, outreach initiatives, content planning, and more in a way that gives you a full view of your goals, plans, timelines, and how you can make it all happen. Another aspect of strategy growth is your website. It seems redundant, but your website is your organization's identity and where most people will quote unquote meet your organization online for the first time. Ensure it's clean, professional, modern, and very user-friendly, especially for our friends who are using their phones. Do research and make sure that your SEO is performing well in those searches, and that will lead to increased donor reach. A better donor experience and increased visibility online will lead to more donors and more conversions on any forms. In addition to fundraising campaigns or event sites, should be made very mobile friendly, and have a quick, easy donor experience. According to Double the Donation, a great partner of ours, online donation pages have an average conversion rate of about 8% on mobile devices last year. But the number of transactions completed through mobile devices increased by 50%. Ensure your platforms are compliant with security standards so your donors know that their information is safe and protected. Also also consider consolidating your donor experiences. So if you use multiple platforms like PayPal, a fundraising software form, one or two other forms, consider how that may be impacting your donors' experience. If they see multiple channels where their information will end up, they may not be interested in donating. Using fewer platforms for all your campaigns or events sends your donors to less places and requires less logins for them. If you can consolidate that experience, you'll improve that impression for your donors when they interact with your organization and act on an appeal. And finally, make your calls to action, or CTA, front and center. Don't make your donors search for that donation button or a form anywhere. Whether you're asking for donations, encouraging ticket purchases, selling merch, keep the CTA at the top as the most visible thing on your campaign. And never underestimate the power of a video on a donation form. Videos significantly can impact conversion for the positive. Also, donor experience and impression are crucial to awareness and growth. So the more you can optimize your giving platforms and improve your donor experience, the better off you'll be.
Perfect. And Amy, I know you have some revenue quarterly insights based on some data from last year.
We do. So we pulled this from the Give Smart platform and learned, obviously, that 2022 was a great year for fundraising. I hope your organizations were able to take advantage of it as well. As you know, it was the first year post-COVID that things started to seem or feel a little bit back to normal. In this graph on this page, we can see the seasonality of the fundraising for a few main industries. Typically, 60 to 70% of the fundraising occurred in either Q2 or Q4, which was really no big surprise. As we know, many people take advantage of spring fundraising and end of year Giving Tuesday campaigns. So that's really reflected in those quarters, obviously. One group does stand out here, though. If we take a look at K-12, they're a bit of an outlier as they do half of their fundraising in Q2 alone. So there's obviously a huge push to get that fundraising in before the end of the school year. Now you may be saying, great, but how is this going to help me? A graph like this will allow you to discuss the main fundraising seasons for your organization's industry, and it lets you know the time of year when similar organizations are finding their success. Additionally, what it does is it defines the less common times for fundraising. This is when it would be beneficial to try out some of the out-of-the-box fundraising strategies where you might not typically have anything planned. So think low effort, online or virtual, because they have a variable return. And by taking advantage of these less busy times, you're going to reduce the potential for a negative impact on your main fundraiser, allowing it to remain the sole focus during your peak season.
Absolutely. And so, Megan, how does that also coordinate with growth fundraising and maybe how you can utilize partnerships and sponsorships?
For sure. So corporate social responsibility, or CSR for short, is a form of self-regulation that reflects a business's accountability and commitment to contributing to the well-being of communities and societies. So whether you're working with existing sponsors or partners, or honestly, even trying to find new ones, sometimes both, it's great to consider these relationships as a key part of your growth strategy. So at the end of the day, yes, they may be supporting your organization in some way, but then they also get bragging rights and their brand reputation improves by supporting organizations like yours. So use relationships in new ways. Also consider exclusive events or opportunities such as like VIP early access to events or special reserved parking at an event, in addition to a reserved table seating in a prime location if you're hosting some sort of event. Matching campaigns are another super easy way to get more out of your partnerships. According to Double the Donation, there's been a dramatic increase in the percentage of companies with unrestricted matching gift programs. So you could try this during an event, or you could do an exclusive matching donation day presented by XYZ sponsor name. Matching campaigns are also more effective for donors because they know their dollars are automatically doubled and they feel even better when making that donation. If you're looking for opportunities outside of events to pull sponsors or partners, consider exclusive opportunities like naming rights. Do you have a room, building, garden, playground, or some other space that you could solicit to for sponsors and offer them naming rights? That would be a really cool avenue to go down. And then, of course, volunteer opportunities. Volunteer opportunities for staff at your partner organizations can also have a large impact on your organization. So ensure you're coordinating those opportunities with your partners as well.
Absolutely. There are so many options when it comes to sponsors and partners, and you never know, with just a little bit more nudging, a little bit more pulling, where you can really impact your growth with those relationships. So we definitely wanted to call that out. So now that we've gotten through some of the heavy stuff, the goals, the growth, all that fun stuff, let's dive into some revenue enhancers for legacy events and some fundraising appeals. So where are there more opportunities to increase dollars raised throughout the year with maybe some of the stuff that you already have going on? Amy, can you get us started?
Absolutely. I love this slide because I really think that it allows us to take a step back and really take a holistic look at organizations who fundraised last year. Again, segmenting by industry, we can see their recipes for how they found their success in 2022. With a vast majority finding that success through a combination of donations and ticketings, which accounted for about 60% of their overall revenue. Once you got past those two main revenue drivers, then the remaining pieces of the pie consist primarily of silent and live auctions. Even though raffles, voting, and instant items make up a smaller percent of the overall revenue, they're still great ways of keeping your supporters engaged throughout the year with very little effort on your part, as these types of events can be conducted completely online or typically pretty easy to set up. So if you were to segment your own revenue streams in a graphical presentation, you would not only identify your main revenue drivers, but you would also be able to ensure that you're managing your time and effort effectively by not spending a large amount of time on the activities that don't typically see a large return on that time invested. Sometimes when we're planning for an event, it's easy to get wrapped up in spending a half of our time ensuring that a particular game is set up just to perfection. But once you try something new or even complicated, take an assessment afterwards and ensure that this activity didn't consume too much of your time for very little return on investment. That will certainly help you adjust your plans for the following year, and you can divide that time on a low effort activity that still provides the element of uniqueness or fun engagement that you're trying to achieve for your constituents or attendees, while not detracting from your main revenue drivers.
Yeah, I agree. I love this slide as well. It's very insightful and really interesting to see within, the entire nonprofit industry, how these different industry segments break down and what their revenues look like and how it differs. I find this so fascinating as well. So Megan, what about Amy still, actually, what about some ideas for auctions for those legacy events? What are some revenue enhancing ideas?
You got it. No problem. I'll keep going here. So when we're starting with auctions, there's plenty of ways to get creative. And I know a ton of our clients are so creative. We love to see what comes in. How many items are you offering? Are there diverse types of items? Are the sizes, the size of these items or the dollar amounts? How many are those? How many of those are you offering? We see people offer baskets to autographed items, liquor carts, or gift cards. We've seen it all. Offering these items appeal to all ages and genders. They really offer a variety of diversification over, demographics will engage more when we're talking to them, which is better for your bottom line. So in the chat, we'll be sharing a blog on a 30 silent auction item ideas that don't cost a dime. Check that out. Something to think about too is, are you offering different types of items that drive donor engagement and participation? For example, GiveSmart offers not just silent and live auction item types, but we also have instant items with buy now buttons, donate items, so your donors can select the item or the cause that they want to donate to. We also have voting capabilities and raffle opportunities. All of these item types provide different experience for your donors, encouraging them to scroll, click, and engage during your event, or bid, browse, and buy. Outside of these types of items you're including in your auction, consider offering experiences before or after your auction. This is so important to have engagement prior to your actual physical event to help with the learning curve of the technology you might be using. It also gives a great opportunity to present maybe a golden raffle ticket that gives your donors the opportunity to purchase an exclusive ticket from a limited number, where the winner could select an item from an auction that they want to keep as their prize. This one's pretty popular. You could also provide a certain number of donors the opportunity to start bidding early or give them exclusive items to preview. Just building that excitement and that engagement. And after your auction ends, there's a great opportunity to hold a blowout sale if you had items that didn't sell or receive any bids. These items can be held for a post-auction sale for donors or a fire sale. And you can also approach the second highest bidder on items that maybe didn't win the first time around and ask if they are interested in bidding again. We learned that the top four growth fundraising revenue enhancers at events in 2022 from the GiveSmart platform were raffles, wine pulls, games such as balloon pops, scavenger hunts, and some others, and heads or tails. So lots of fun in 2022.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also love the call out on the slide that the top 4 highest performing auction item categories based on GiveSmart data include alcohol and wine, food, travel or experiences, and autographed items. Now, I know that sometimes that varies from organization to organization, industry to industry, but it's really great to keep in mind what performs well, over every single organization that hosts an auction on GiveSmart. And so that you can kind of pull from those and hopefully increase your bottom line at your auctions as well. But also keep in mind that may not align with your donors. So make sure that you're balancing that with what they want to see. We know that doesn't apply to everyone. It's just great to know. Great insight. So Megan, I know you have some more insight and some more ideas, but for golf fundraisers.
Yes, I do. But I have to say, I personally love a good exclusive food experience when it comes to like a
Yeah.
silent auction item, like a special dinner with like a local chef or something like that. That's
Mhm.
personally something that I would bid on. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
100%.
And then to segue nicely into the golf, I also know that a lot of organizations will do like golf foursomes at an exclusive like course or something like that as an opportunity as well. So just kind of another idea to consider. But talking about golf fundraising. So golf fundraising events also provide an excellent creative opportunity to help increase revenue. So yes, golfers already are paying to participate, but the day of the event, they're expecting to pay a bit more money, especially if you host an auction component with your golf event. So some revenue enhancing ideas for golf events, you can do paid participation options. So like mulligans or do-overs or pay for like a specific handicap. We've also seen other GiveSmart customers get super creative with paid opportunities like have a golf pro take your shot on your behalf or a golf ball cannon shooter or other ways to get your ball as close to the hole as possible. You could also offer prizes to players at certain holes, such as like the leader and the loser at hole 9 halfway through your event if it's like an 18-hole course, which is kind of fun in that sense. Or you could also consider like a raffle as well. So have everybody get raffled and then halfway through you can pull a winner who wins a prize. Also get creative with your sponsorships again. I know we talked about sponsorship earlier, but golf ideas are a little different. So you can get a sponsor to cover each hole of the course. You can get custom hole flags, give away swag to players, or even have representatives at the hole for specific chatting and sharing information. Sponsors can also even cover like fun stuff for the event, like parts, equipment, food, drinks, other basics, if you don't already have sponsors covering those parts of your event. And then really the name of the game is creativity. So you can even encourage like a voting competition of mismatched, that is a tongue twister, costumes, and encourage your golfers to dress up to play. We've also seen other opportunities where if the biggest donation to someone's campaign gets the opportunity to select what said golfer will wear the day of the course, which is kind of fun, or the day of the event, excuse me. And then there are also apps available like on the market that get golfers online with like a fantasy team that they can compete against as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I love all of those. And going off of the swag, I an organization I worked with previously, at one of our golf events, we had branded swag from sponsors. So we had, outside of your normal swag, they did golf themed stuff. So like there was a golf themed grill set where like the spatula and like all of the different things were like in the shape of like a golf club, or like there was a spatula that had like holes in it and was shaped like a golf ball. So like it was super cute and quirky, but it was like a travel grill set. Branded golf towels. Like they got really creative with the kind of merch that they offered to the golfers, which was really fun. So it's always great to keep those ideas in mind as you're trying to churn over like what could raise more money, what could bring those sponsors more recognition at your event, and how you can keep your golfers engaged. So I just wanted to throw those in. I just thought of that.
Yeah, no, that's a great call out, and it actually fits in perfectly with this example. So Ronald McDonald House Charities in Central Ohio has held their golf classic for a few years now, but the most recent example was July of last year. Like I said, it's an annual golf tournament event. Excuse me. They held an auction, held raffles, and other revenue enhancers like items for instant buy that you guys can see right there. So they offered mulligans, different bullseye game opportunities, a dice game, and more. And then, as you can see there, they offered an all-inclusive package that someone could purchase for themselves up front, which basically was like their added on of like a VIP opportunity there. So for them, they were able to raise last year $98,000. Sadly, the event was rained out. So no golf was actually even played that year, which is still an incredible amount of money to raise for an event that didn't even actually have the physical golf playing happen. So they missed out on their day of revenue that year. But honestly, the opportunity that they gained from their other GiveSmart aspects really got them in a good position to be successful for the rest of the year, and then come up with some other ideas for their organization in the future.
Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, you always worry with outdoor events like that, how you can pivot based on the weather. And it's amazing that they were still able to raise that much money for their organization without any golf being played. That's incredible. And so Amy, I'm going to come back to you. So we're going to pivot from golf and we're going to look at some other ways to raise money. So let's start with peer-to-peer.
Let's do it. I can't say enough. If you're not taking advantage of peer-to-peer fundraising yet, you definitely should. It can be fast and easy to put together. It can be a standalone fundraising campaign, or it can be added to any event for extra fundraising potential. It's easy to find themes or reasons to fundraise using peer-to-peer. Here's a couple of examples. You could do birthdays instead of presents, contribute to my birthday by making a donation in support of this organization. You can do anniversaries, other celebrations, mission moments or accomplishments, holidays, and more. If traditional peer-to-peer seems like a chore, you can always try a voting campaign to get supporters to participate as well. For example, a GiveSmart customer held a bracketed voting competition with multiple elimination rounds of voting, and the winner at the end was crowned as the dopest dad of the town. So they had community members nominate the dads for voting. They constructed the profiles of the dads for voting, and it was up on the organization, and the participating families were then challenged and set out to encourage donations and votes for the campaign that benefited their dad. It was a massive success and an excellent use of peer-to-peer fundraising via voting. And I think it's fair to say everybody involved had a pretty good time. We do have an example of peer-to-peer fundraising campaign coming up shortly, so hang on for that. We're also sharing a resource in the chat. If you need help constructing appeal messages to get peer-to-peer volunteers involved, please take advantage of that. It's also a great opportunity to really have your board members get out there and participate and, reach out to their social networks and encourage people to help support your organization as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think some other examples that we've seen before we move back to Megan, we've seen sidewalk chalk competitions and gingerbread house decorating and all kinds of different stuff over the years that people can translate into like peer-to-peer or voting and really get those community members involved. And it's also great for awareness. You're getting people involved with your organization, with your mission that maybe haven't been before. So like Amy said, I can't say enough about peer-to-peer either. It is so, so, so great. And so Megan, I'm going to come to you now for recurring giving.
Yeah, so reoccurring giving can provide around 10% of annual unrestricted revenue for your organization's bottom line. So really, if you're not using reoccurring giving and prompting your donors to join as a reoccurring donor, you should be. This is probably the easiest thing you can add on to basically any campaign or event donation opportunity. Today's theme is solely centered around growth, and reoccurring giving is a channel that our GiveSmart team and customers have seen immense growth in just in the last few years. So using a platform like GiveSmart, it's so easy to add this onto any sort of campaign like peer-to-peer, but reoccurring giving can be fantastic as a standalone campaign for year-round fundraising efforts. And according to Next After, including a reoccurring giving prompt on forms or in any sort of appeal can increase reoccurring donations by 64%, which is incredible. So why not just try? Quickly, I wanted to share some platform data from last year, from 2022. $3.2 million was raised via reoccurring donations in 2022. Also, 85% of reoccurring donations are on a monthly cadence. Reoccurring giving accounts for about 7% of all donation revenue. And then offering reoccurring donations as an option provides nonprofits the opportunity to build a consistent revenue stream. And then what we have found in our data is that $2.6 million is generated through reoccurring giving every month.
That's so crazy. It's amazing to me how much that has grown, even just in the last couple of years. And I know you have an example to share with us on a recurring giving campaign.
Yeah, I mean, it is reoccurring giving. The opportunities there are incredible. If I could do fast math, I would say you'd obviously prefer to have someone give, $10 a month for a year versus give a one-time $100 donation, because you're seeing more throughout the year, because obviously 12 months in the year. So I think that's fast math. I think that's right. But for this example, this is an example from Beyond Hunger, a reoccurring giving campaign. Their Hunger 365 is an excellent example of ongoing reoccurring giving campaign. They honestly had great success because they had great donor communication to appeal for specific giving amounts. For example, $30 a month will help pay for 12 families to pick up a week's worth of healthy groceries at a drive-through food pantry. $50 a month helps provide 780 pounds of produce annually, ensuring families in their community have access to fresh foods. And then $100 a month would provide a family with groceries, including fresh produce and high quality protein. One thing they also did was they embedded these reoccurring giving forms on their website for extra visibility and ease of donor use, to just go to their website and plug in that information, as well as also have a landing page that you see here to encourage donations as well.
I love that. It's an amazing campaign, an amazing way to translate how much money a month will, impact one person through their mission. I think that's, and you can see in their fundraising how effective that was. So I love that example. And Amy, I think you're going to wrap us up in this section on revenue enhancers by tech.
Yes, my favorite. Consider the technology that you have and then the tech you could have. Can that impact your revenue in positive ways? As we mentioned earlier, the donor experience is crucial to success and conversions. And I know there's a lot of hesitation sometimes with technology, but we've learned that those groups and audiences you think might not be so tech savvy are surprisingly the ones who use it the best and sometimes the most. So let's consider some additional ways you can optimize tech for your donor experience and growth. Make your platform fees optional for donors. So when they check out at the end of the event, they can choose to cover the fees for you and save your organization money. In 2022 alone, organizations saved more than $12 million by making platform fees optional for donors. Did you guys hear that? $12 million. That's huge. Of the events that offered this option last year, donors opted to pay the fees half of the time, which accounted for about 12 million staying in the pockets of our GiveSmart partners. Just imagine the impact that an additional $1 million a month made for their causes. And an added bonus, GiveSmart doesn't charge transaction fees or transfer fees, so no additional hidden fees to worry about when you're using our platform for your events or online fundraising. On the auctions side, we on a few slides back when we talked about auctions, we mentioned pre-auction activities. Another great thing about pre-event activities is getting donor information into your system ahead of time, so it's easier for them to check in and get going on event day. This is so important to a positive donor experience. It just really sets the tone for a great night. So they might actually spend more money. You never know. We always encourage you utilize text messages for giving moments, items with no bids, raffle reminders, and other messages to keep the donors engaged. We know that text messages have an industry average of a 90% open rate. This is the highest of any communication channel, so use them. Donor segmentation is a practice you should employ if you don't already for targeting donors based on giving levels, past giving activity, donor demographics, and other metrics. Segmentation is a great strategy for stewardship and identifying potential legacy donors as well. So if you're not using tech, definitely something to consider.
Yeah, just between those text messages and the donor segmentation practices, the growth that you can see just in targeting donors in different ways is crazy. The potential there is amazing, and we just keep seeing GiveSmart customers use those features to their advantage, and it's incredible. And so I'm going to take a quick pause here and let Megan and Amy take a breath before our last section, which I think is going to be the most fun section because we have tons of ideas coming at you. But we're going to do another quick poll. So we've talked a lot about ideas and fundraising ideas, growth ideas, strategies. And if you would like to know more about how GiveSmart could help your organization, whether that's with your events, with your annual fundraising, even your text messaging, your peer-to-peer, your recurring giving, please let us know. We would be happy to get in contact with you, get a GiveSmart expert, one-to-one with you so that you can ask questions on plans, pricing, features, whatever information you need. And so while that poll is going, just a reminder, and in case you missed it earlier, we are recording today's call and we will be sending out an email to everyone within the next 24 to 48 hours that will include the recording of this session, as well as all of the resource links that we are sharing throughout the chat, because we know that there's a lot happening here and there. So we want to make sure you have everything you need for success. And especially during this last section of the webinar, but if I didn't say it earlier, grab a pen, grab some paper. We've got multiple slides of ideas for you and some great customer examples to wrap things up in the next 20-ish minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and end this poll. Thank you everyone for participating. And then, like I said, let's get into the really, really fun stuff. We have tons and tons of creative campaign ideas with some customer examples sprinkled throughout to finish us up today. So Amy, I will pass it to you to get us started in this last section.
Sounds good. Let's get creative. We brainstormed some fun, creative, and event ideas, trying to come up with experiences your donors would love. These come from campaigns we've seen customers run, campaigns we've run at previous organizations we've been a part of, and examples from the industry in general. So some of the really fun In-person or online trivia nights can be a great addition if you haven't already done that. If you can secure a comedian, get the giggles out with a comedy night, karaoke or lip sync battles, get your supporters on stage. Bingo nights or board game nights are fun, great sit down opportunities to spend time with your donors and really engage and build those personal relationships a little more. We've seen some really fun movie nights and drive-ins. Those are super successful and customers love them. For some creative ideas and many others to come, keep in mind that platforms and the tech that you have at your disposal and how you can use those to enhance revenue and engage your donors. From ticket types to item sales, raffles, voting, text messaging, and more. Keep the creative ideas flowing. It's fun to weave in themes associated with, fun things that your constituents can relate to as well. So Megan, can you have a movie-like example for us? I think you do.
Yeah, I do. So Littleton Public Schools Foundation held a night at the theater fundraising event. So this was a ticketed event, and tickets included a beverage, a item from the dessert bar, an entry to a live performance of The Wedding Singer, which fantastic, and a donation to the organization. So that was what that ticket included. And then they also offered multiple sponsorship levels, which was a nice opportunity for other organizations to get involved. Altogether, they raised over $12,000 on a night like this, which is incredible. This is a fantastic example of getting creative in your community and offering exclusive opportunities for donors that they might not be able to get anywhere else. This is also a great usage of ticketing and sponsorships within the GiveSmart platform to enhance revenue for that actual event.
Yeah. And so, Amy, I think you've got even more creative ideas, and there's going to be more and more to come.
Yes, for sure. So looking at some of these creative ideas here on this slide, get outside and be creative in other ways from your typical golf event or 5K race. Sometimes stepping out of your comfort zone and doing things a little bit different generate really great results. You never knew the potential was there. Carnivals or carnival-like events with games, dunk tanks, and petting zoos appeal to donors of all generations. Bring the families together, make it fun for them. Car washes, field days, tailgates, community bonfires, and other events like these are great ways to get donors involved in new ways and to network with them. Sales are also really great revenue enhancing ideas, such as a flower or plant sale in the spring, or a plant a tree event where the donors adopt a tree before they plant it. Megan, you have a food truck fundraising event for us next, right?
Yeah, I do actually. So the Humane Society of Utah's Bark at the Moon, which is the cutest name, campaign is seriously one of our favorites every single year. They organize a food truck fundraiser and encourage their attendees to bring their dogs for a fun night out. They set it up so it's a big alley full of vendors and a splash pad for people and dogs. And then they have live entertainment that performs throughout the night. They also utilize the GiveSmart platform by holding, virtual drawings for different giveaways, and you don't have to be in attendance to enter or win the drawings. And then they also use GiveSmart on their campaign site to sell different types of swag, like the dog bandana that you see, which is so cute. And then they also designed a specific program that they linked out on their GiveSmart site that included an event map, the entertainment schedule, human and dog rules for the event, and so much more. They also created a hashtag and encouraged posting on social media with that special hashtag. Altogether for this, they raised over $10,000, which is pretty incredible, and a fun event for humans and dogs alike.
Yeah, I love it. And I think at the end of the event, they even at the close of the event, everybody got to take their dog for a long walk as the final thing of the night. It was so cute. I love this idea. Really great for any animal organization to get humans and their pets involved, because who doesn't love to involve their pets? I would love to bring my dogs if they would behave to an event like that. Amy, so I'm going to go back to you for even more creative ideas.
Me too. I want to go to the dog event. So ticket sales and instant buy opportunities galore. We love these fundraising classics like bake sales and classes, but have you ever considered a fashion show or maybe even sunrise yoga? Think outside the box and get your donors moving or contributing in a new way. It's always fun for them. They love, the variety, and it's further engagement with them as well. Community cookbooks are another fantastic way to get your entire local community involved. Those are great gift ideas. And who doesn't love a recipe from mom or grandma that they can type up and contribute? I know I've got quite a few. Then the sales could go back to your organization for the cookbook. So it's a win-win. You're really getting everybody involved there. So I love that. Moving on to some other creative ideas. We've also seen excellent game themed campaigns. In recent years, new opportunities for participation have popped up, from Topgolf to axe throwing parties, escape rooms, and others that stray from your traditional bowling or dodgeball tournaments. Give Smart customers have also gotten creative with yard decorating campaigns, getting donors to pay for signs or figures to decorate someone's yard. You can also consider your networks and how you can save money and event overhead costs by asking for rentals in kind or borrowing equipment. You never know who just might have a giant Jenga kit or a cornhole game kit or a spare board games or a venue that you could use for your events. Great idea.
I love these. I think anything like that, an escape room or the yard decorating is one of my favorites. We've seen like flocking, flocking a yard, so with birds, signs shaped like birds that they stuck in people's front yards. And you would have to donate to have the bird moved off of your lawn and onto someone else's, which is hilarious. We've also seen that with signs shaped like eggs, so egging your yard. Those are super fun. Rubber ducky races. Megan, I know you've seen plenty of those before. So there's so many ideas and ways to get your donors involved with games and different interactive experiences like that. And then
and I was gonna say I have this example, but the the one on that last slide that I would not want to participate in is a spelling bee.
yeah, same.
I was not very good at it in elementary school, and I probably still wouldn't be the best. So I have to admit that. But yeah, I love all of these ideas. But this example that I want to share with you guys is from the Women's Cancer Resource Center. They do a campaign every year. That's a peer-to-peer style campaign. That's Swim a Mile, Move a Mile campaign. They, like I said, they hold this event annually. I'm sorry. And then one thing that they've done that really stands out to me as a great idea is they've created a frequently asked questions page by utilizing a GiveSmart like custom form to help answer questions for those who are donating to someone's campaign or who are participating or anyone who might just be coming to like view and cheer people on that day. Just kind of a nice opportunity to get ahead of any of those questions that kind of come up for an event. They also have the ability and have done a great job of promoting their sponsors all within their fundraising page. And then they also added on a social media wall to show off their posts from previous years and also encourage engagement for this year. So their event is actually coming up really soon for this year. That's the image that you guys see on the screen. So far they have raised over $211,000 for this year's event, which is absolutely incredible. I'm so excited to see if they hit their goal this year. They're looking like they might, so that's super exciting. And then last year in 2022, they raised over $325,000 and had over 2,900 gifts, averaging at about $110 per gift, which is amazing. And then in 2021, they raised $476,000, which is absolutely incredible. And then they received over 4,700 gifts that averaged about $100 a gift. So again, these numbers are just absolutely incredible. And then obviously you want to make sure that you have prizes for your top fundraisers, top donors, anything like that. And the other idea that kind of comes up here is that if you're swimming, someone might be able to like pick your swimsuit or your swim cap or something like that, just as like kind of an extra incentive to encourage your friends and family to donate to your campaign specifically.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I love every part of this campaign. It's amazing how much they fundraise every year. But that going back to what we said earlier about that donor experience, creating a frequently asked questions page, can't say that enough. If you can make sure that you have your donor's point of view in mind and any questions that they might have for your event, whether that's using your tech, showing up to the actual event venue, whatever those questions might be, the more you can improve that donor experience, the better your donor experience will be, the happier they will be, and hopefully the more money they will spend. So all leads back to that growth. I love that example. And Amy, I think you are wrapping us up with our last slide on creative campaigns.
Sounds good. Here we go. So just the last few ideas. We encourage you to get creative with the holidays and fundraise using the themes, warm and fuzzy feelings to your advantage. Think community cookbooks, as I mentioned before. Calendar photo contests could be a great way to also get your mission involved in voting contests. And the end result is your calendar you can print and mail out or email digital copies to your supporters. So lots of really creative ideas. I love costume competitions. These are so great around Halloween, perfect way to use voting and pull in some extra revenue there. Really thinking about themed events, an advent calendar countdown. Those are additional ways to get your donors engaged around the holidays. You could also offer services like candygrams, Valentine's, wreath sales, gift giving services. I know those are popular for sure in the schools. Or you can think about Secret Santas. All of these are added revenues throughout the year that are small, quick, and easy to implement and just help your bottom line overall.
Yeah, absolutely. And gift wrapping is something I did previously with an organization that I used to work for, where we would have like a holiday event towards the end of the year, and event attendees could come up to a table and there would be maybe 4 or 5 of us standing there wrapping gifts, and you could wrap their gifts for them and they could just, almost like a tip, like in a tip jar, they would just give you like a donation as a thank you for wrapping all of their Christmas gifts for them. It was fun for me because I love to wrap gifts, and it's great for them, and it's a great walk away, and it was super easy to do. So, little
love
ideas
that.
like that. Yeah, little services like that you can add in, those little touches can really help.
I love it. Bid on the auction items first and then come
And
pick them
then
up and we'll gift wrap them for you.
exactly. Amen. That is exactly what we did. So yeah, thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Megan and Amy. We've gotten through a lot in a very short amount of time. So we're going to dive into our Q&A. And so keep questions coming either in the chat or in the Q&A box if you have any, but I will throw out just a couple questions that we have. Do either of you have any ideas you could offer up specifically for schools who are looking to add additional fundraising opportunities?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we covered, a lot of the voting competitions are great. Peer-to-peer campaigns are also fantastic among schools because you can divide them up by classroom or by individual students. So however you want to implement those, but I think you can vote on the best decorated door, or you can you can certainly have fun experiences that you're engaging with everybody, where the bake sale items come in, or you're doing a holiday festival that has a bunch of different elements to it that keep your constituents involved, but also give them options to have a takeaway. Getting something for the money you're giving is always a great incentive.
Yeah, Amy, those are great call outs. And the other thing, the ideas that I have, I think, and what we've seen are a little more like specific, but I know as far as like silent auction stuff, I've seen people create like a going to college basket, or something like that for any sort of grade level. That's kind of like a fun extra incentive there. And then we've also seen schools raffle off like parking spots, right? doing like reserved graduation seats for any level, first in line at carpool or pickup, because I know from my friends who have kids, they've said that like that is prime. Like you want that front spot, you want to be there, which just cracks me up, and I love that. Yeah, having like sports passes for the whole year or anything like that. Those are kind of the things that jump out to me as, some different ideas around school fundraising.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think those are really great ideas. And I know we have a lot of resources for schools as well. So take a look through the resources tab on our website for more on specific fundraising ideas for schools, because we know, again, that Q2 is crucial for all of UK 12 and even higher education doing your fundraising. So let us know what else we can do to help. But then one last question, and then I guess we can wrap up. How does social media fit into growth fundraising? I know that that's a tough question. Social media is a beast in its own right, but it's also very, very important for engagement and awareness. So curious what your guys' thoughts are.
Do you want to take
Yeah, I was
this?
gonna yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I guess I should say, before joining the GiveSmart team, I came from a United Way organization. So social media was a big part of what we were doing. So one thing that we really worked on was like leveraging our social media channels to continue to work to reach a wider audience, and promote like our cause. But then we would also work closely with our sponsors and our partners, and then also our donors, to make sure that they knew how to tag us on social media, knew how to interact with us, which is kind of a piece of that. And then kind of the other part there is, I would say, two things. So working to create engaging content. And engaging can feel vague, but also I think a lot of what we mean by engaging is mission driven content. So showing what showing what people's donation is going towards, incorporating that, and kind of a fun way to work to like educate and inform, and then sometimes even like entertain as well. So you can do that through videos, through actual content, through photos, through call to actions, anything like that. And then also, I would say sharing success stories, which falls under that, content bubble. But really working to share success stories of the people and the communities and the organizations that are also, other organizations that are helped by the work that your organization is doing. And that can also help inspire others to donate. I know we have a few resources too on our website that I think Madison, I can pull and we can share in the follow-up email as well. That can kind of walk through a bit more as far as like social media stuff goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Those were great questions, and thank you guys for answering them so thoroughly. I think on that note, it's time to say farewell today. We'll give everyone a few minutes back. But please use the end of webinar survey to share your feedback with us and request contact if you want to learn more about GiveSmart, or you want to have a conversation with anyone on our team. Let us know how we can help you with your creative fundraising and your growth fundraising. But thank you again for joining us today. Thank you to Megan and Amy for your time and for extending your expertise to all of us. We will see everyone next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care.